The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, hello everyone. Let me just make sure that my screens are set up here correctly and that you're seeing the right thing and not just my face. Let me double check here. Hmm. All right, getting a little bit of technical difficulty. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone can hear me, everyone can see my screen. You should see "Welcome to the new Nadex platform" up there. You should be able to see my beautiful face as well. So if you could just type in chat, just confirming that everything is working. I know sometimes, every once in a while, we have a little bit of technical difficulties with getting these started. So want to make sure I avoid that. Okay, looks like we can see. We have lights and sound, and we are good to go. Awesome. Hey again, everyone. This is the amazingly titled "Welcome to the new Nadex platform. Are you ready?" Webinar. So this today is July 7th. My name is Adam McCaden. For those of you who haven't been on these webinars before, I work with our new platform team here. So was working heavily with our team in creating the new platform, making sure that it was what our traders wanted. I also work on our product team here. So a lot of the new products that you see coming out, like the peso, like the economic event contracts, that's what I do here at Nadex as well. And today we are going to delve into this new platform. I know this might not be brand new to a lot of you because this has been in beta since September, but this is sort of the first time that we've been saying, okay, hey, this is getting out of beta. We are going to eventually be switching over to this a little bit later in the year, and I'll go into that in a second. But this is really our new platform now, not just the beta platform. So without further ado, let's go to the next slide here. So everyone, you should be able to. You don't see my face. Okay. Well, let me know if you still can't see my face. I mean, it is great. And if not, you're really not missing much. Okay, so those of you who have been to any webinars before that we do, you will recognize this disclaimer. I'll give you a second to go ahead and read this very briefly. While you guys are reading this, it just says, look, trading involves risk. Trading on Nadex involves risk. Trading everywhere involves risk, right? And you should only be using your discretionary income when you are trading. So don't use that rent money. Don't use money you need from food, right? You just want to use your discretionary income, any extra income that you have, in order to go and trade. Also, anything I say in this video is not a trade recommendation. I will be placing a couple of just dummy trades on the demo accounts so you guys can see how things work on the platform. Not a recommendation to go out and trade any of the products that I'm actually trading. I can't give them to you even if I wanted to, and hey, I don't even know if you guys want to listen to my recommendations, even if I could give them. So, all right. So hopefully you've had time to read this because we're going to go on to the next slide here. If you do have any questions, so during this webinar, if you have any questions, just throw up in chat. I'll be seeing them, and I have Sophie, who is one of my great teammates. She's going to be monitoring the questions as well, answering or responding to them. So we should be able to respond to them while on the webinar here. If you have any questions later after this is over, don't hesitate to reach out to our customer service line or email us at customerservice@nadex.com, and I will throw these up at the end of the webinar as well, just so if you don't have them. Moving on to the next slide here. All right, this is really going to be kind of the end of the slides. The rest of the time we're going to be going through the actual platform. We're going to be seeing the actual platform. So just as an agenda, I'll be going to the new platform. I'll be showing you how to actually get there, right? Because the website has changed as well. I'll be showing you the new layout of the new platform, how to place orders, work things like your tear-off tickets, how to manage your positions. We'll go and we'll look at the settings, and then finally we will save the charts for last. The charts probably have changed the most out of anything in the new platform, so there's a lot of a little intricacies that want to show and make sure you guys know everything that we have going on with the new charts, because that is probably the most significant change as to this point. We do have a real quick question here. Will you be allowing us to choose which platform we can use, or are you removing the old one permanently? That is a great question. So as of right now, we are allowing you to use both. And actually, that's kind of a good segue into sort of the dates that I was going to talk about here. So in part of our, so very basically, we are allowing you for the time being to choose either the old platform or the new platform, but come November, we will be shutting off access to the old platform. So you will need to go and get in the new platform at that point, but we do want to give you a good amount of ramp time to get over there, learn everything, and especially make sure that we can respond to any feedback that you have and make sure that we can make a new platform that has everything that the old platform has, and make sure that you can actually use that to continue to trade the way you want to trade. So kind of on that point though, just a little background. About a year and a half ago at this point, we started a couple of big projects here at Nadex. One was the new website. So if any of you have gone to nadex.com in the past week or so, I believe June 28th, we launched our new website. And so let me get that up here. So you should be seeing now, and again, let me know if you can't see it. You should be seeing our new website, the new nadex.com. So a lot of time and effort went into creating this, and we hope that it kind of brings us into the modern day of websites, and also just makes it easier for you to access the things that you want to access, makes it easier for you to learn, to find information about our products, et cetera. So that was one of the major projects we were working on for the last year and a half or so. With that, we also began working on, as many of you know, the new platform. So it's a sort of entire Nadex is evolving. You probably got that email. Nadex is evolving. We're going to be kind of new shiny face of Nadex with the new site and with the new platform as well. So if you do land on the new site, nadex.com, very easy. Top right, just as like on the old site, you're going to have this login button here. Click on that, and you are going to have the login page. So just quickly, this login page over here, if you can see my mouse where I'm sort of swirling it around, this is going to be for the old platform right now. So if you log in here, you will access the old platform. To get to the new platform at this point, you will need to click on this button, and you will come to this familiar landing page that you probably noticed from when we've been building it out the last few months. So this will still be the login page for the new platform here. And so to go a little bit further into those dates I was giving you, so I said last week we switched over to the new platform. Next week, Monday, July 12th, we will be having it so that the default platform will be the new platform, right? So if you basically the login pages will change just a little bit. And if you log in on kind of that main page that I just showed you, that login, when you click that, you will go to the new platform rather than the old one. You will still have access to that old platform though until November. At November, you will need to get off and use the new platform. So again, we are trying to give you guys time to make sure that you're comfortable with using that new platform. So without further ado, I think I've talked a lot about the new platform without actually getting into it. Let's log right in here. So I'll use my demo account. I like Nadex, and let's log into that account. And you see our nice little loading circle loading there. All right, fantastic. So this is the new platform. You can see it does look a little bit different than the old platform. I like to think it looks a little bit better, kind of a refresh with the interface. But you will notice that everything that you can do on the old platform, or almost everything at this point, you can do over here. So just to jump right into it, let's look at first, how do you find the markets that you trade? So you're going to have access to the same markets that you still have on the old platform. Nothing's going away in that regard. So you will see over here, this is our new sort of finder area window, whatever you want to call it. But if you do want to get to your binary options, you click up here, your call spreads, your knockouts. So this is how you're going to navigate around to the different products here. And when you excuse me, when you actually click on that, when you actually click on these top bars, you'll see underneath the different markets, and clicking on the market will bring up the contracts inside, right? So I'm on call spreads, I click on indices. Let's just say I want to trade the DAX, or as we call it here, the Germany 30, and you can see, well, now I have the Germany 30 up on my screen. Yes, you can absolutely ask questions during, and I will try to answer as best as I can. Let's just kick off. Let's go into a binary here. I'll click one of the indices. Actually, you know what? I just clicked an indice. Let's do Forex, and let's just scroll down, and you can see these are all the same products that you're able to trade with all the expirations that you are normally able to trade on Nadex. So let's take one a little bit further out, just so we have more prices on here, and just randomly let's choose one of these. So you can see here, when I click on the buy or the sell on the price ladder on the left-hand side of the Finder, you can see it populates the contract over here on the right-hand side with the selected contract, right? So it's going to populate the order ticket with the selected contract. It's going to have the side that you can select. You can also, you see how it's changing inside the chart in the middle. So clicking on this will also bring up the relevant chart for the market you're looking at. And you can select your buy or your sell from the chart itself. You can select your buy and your sell from the deal ticket itself as well. You can do very similar to the old platform. You can look at the market depth here. So clicking on show market depth or hide market depth, you can see all the different prices available in the market. You change your order type, change your price. Let's say I wanted to get in at 70, and you can change your size. Let's say I want 5 of these, right? You can place your order, and very simple. That's how you're going to get into a contract on the new platform. So should be fairly straightforward, actually getting into those contracts and trading on the new platform here. I will show you very quickly. So one of the very highly requested features that we got was the ability to access multiple tickets, multiple charts, tear those tickets off, rearrange them how you want to in the new platform. And I know that's something you could do in the old one. And when we first launched this on beta, you weren't able to do that here. So we did actually build out that functionality, and I quite like how it turned out. So we'll go into that a little bit right now. So you can see up here at the top right of the ticket, or the top right of the chart, you see this button that says tear off chart, tear off ticket, right? So let's look at the ticket very quickly here. And so you'll see, hopefully you can see a new window pop up. And again, let me know if you can't actually see that window popping up there. So you can see the new window pops up right here. And you can get in, get out of your positions just the same as you could before, just as the same as you could in the old platform as well. And you can open up multiple of these, right? So let's say I want, another one. Now it did kind of get hidden behind in the back there. Oops. So let me just pull up another ticket here. Oh, looks like I am having a little bit of trouble. Okay, so that is something to go back and make sure that we have working correctly. But you can see all my tickets here all lined up and ready to trade on. Now, this is all the same market. You can do different markets. You can have as many of these open as your screen can kind of handle, and that you can pay attention to at once. And what I think is pretty cool about this is that not only can you have the different tickets open with the different charts and everything, but you can also, or sorry, the different tickets open. You can also look back at the price ladder here. So let's say that you're in a euro-dollar contract, but out of one of the 11 a.m. expiries, but you want to get into a 7 a.m. You can pull that up here, and you can switch everything from this ticket as well. So I can do that. I can place my order. You can also bring your chart up here. So that's going to kind of pop that out, and you should see the chart loading here momentarily. So you can also hide the ticket part. So you can pop your charts out, you can pop your tickets out, you can arrange them the way you want to. And especially if you have a second screen, I actually do have one over here that you guys can't see, but I do have a second screen up. So what I like to do is I like, when I'm trading on my demo account, I have lots of different markets I'm trading in. I'll open up 3, 4, 5 tickets, arrange them all over here just to make sure that when it hits a certain price that I want to hit, I can get in right at that time. I don't have to click around. I can have it all open, all waiting for me to enter the contracts at once. I also do like to watch my my contracts as well and watch the charts of them. So let's say these are all euro dollar, but let me bring up a different contract. Let's say I was in a euro dollar and I was in an Aussie dollar contract. I can tear that chart off, and I can kind of set my screen up so that I can see all my charts at once here. So you are able to go ahead and set your screens up how you want to. This is a little bit of a small screen. The one over here is much bigger, but I could fit probably 4 or 5 on the bigger one. But you can see that I could set up multiple different markets. I can look at them here, and if I want to actually, I can look at the charts here. If I want to get into the ticket, I can place an order here. And you can see you can manage everything like that. So I'm hoping this solves a lot of the problems or helps a lot of the feedback that we got, that people were saying, look, I like the new platform, but you can't have multiple charts, you can't have multiple tickets, I can't look at multiple markets at the same time and actually enter in what I want to. We did try to address that in the easiest way possible, the easiest way for you to actually navigate that we possibly could. So yeah, just a little bit of tutorial how you could set your screens up, how you could use the multiple charts and the multiple tickets. We do have a question here. Will the new system allow for a stop loss order? That is a very good question. As of right now, we still do not have stop losses on Nadex. I am a big proponent of stop losses. I think we should have them, and we have been working on that. So we are still, I will say it's still fairly early days, but we are working on that. Okay, so it is. I don't want to give you any hard dates yet because when you're developing these kind of things, and because it is so early on, it does take a while to actually make sure everything's working correctly, and it's all going in. It's not going to affect or mess up your trading or anything, but we are trying to bring that to you. So I would say stay tuned. But as of right now, we do not have stop orders. In the future, I would say stay tuned, and we'll see what we can get you. All right, so that's placing the orders, getting in, getting out of your contracts. I'll go back and I'll go over the charts a little bit more a little later, but you can see they're a little bit different. I touched on them a little bit with popping your charts out and with these new strike lines, the blue and the red above and below. So let's move on quickly to, so we'll let you know any new features, so new stop losses, we'll let you know anything coming out like that. And I had a question in the chat as well, any chance of weekly spreads? It is something we're kicking around. I will say again, we have had discussions here about that. Nothing concrete yet. But we are looking into it, and I believe we actually do have a few weekly spreads on demo just to test it out. We do not have them in the live environment currently. But again, it is something we're looking into because we have gotten a little bit of feedback that people would like to see those weekly spreads. So moving on to just to managing your positions, right? So let me actually place an order here that will go in as a working order just so you can see. So you can probably see down here at the bottom, you have your position window, very similar to the old position window on the old platform. Let me get into a limit order here that's going to show up as a working order. So you can see the confirmation just came up there. So you can see down here, I have 3 positions or 3 open positions. Now that's not the number of contracts that I have, that's the number of separate strikes I'm in, and you can see I do have 3 positions open, but I'm actually in 7 contracts, if that makes sense, right? Because I'm in 5 of this euro dollar greater than 1128 contract. But you can see down here at the bottom, you have all the contracts that you are currently in. You have your profit and loss running on the left-hand side, or sorry, the right-hand side. Get that confused sometimes. You gotta look at your hands sometimes to remember the left and the right. But you can see everything that you would see on the old platform, right? So you can see the indicative ticking here. You can also see that on the chart as well, and the expiration on the chart. And in the bottom panel, you can see how much time left in your contract. You can see how many contracts you actually have, your current position. So you can see I have actually 7 long contracts across these 3 different positions. And if I were in a short contract or a sell side contract, as we also call it here, you will see I have that -1, and that will denote that I'm in a sell side of contract. It is red. There's that negative there. So you can always see that. You can see the average price I paid to get into the contract, and you can see the current market price that I would need to pay to get out of the contract. And as always, same as the old platform, if you subtract the average price from the current price, you will get your profit or loss. Current price from average price, or reverse that if you are on the sell side. But that's how these profit and loss positions are calculated. And I know most of you probably know this, but do remember that if you're ever not seeing a profit and loss here, that actually would be expected if there's no one actually in the market and willing to take the other side of your contract. So if the current is not showing anything, then your profit and loss will not show, because it is just your profit and loss for if you exit the contract right now, right? And it's not the profit and loss if your contract were to expire right now. I know, most of you out there probably already know that. It's old news for you, but do just want to reiterate that point, just because I know sometimes it can get a little bit tricky. Let's go on to our orders, working orders here. You can see this is the working order I put in a little bit ago. And just like, again, on the old platform, if I click on my working order, I'm going to get an option here to either delete my order, so to get rid of that working order, I don't want it anymore, or I can amend the order. Let's say I don't want to pay 60 anymore, but now I want to pay 65. I can amend that working order, and you can see it has changed now. Now it's wanting to fill me at 65 instead of 60. You can still see I haven't filled any of these contracts because the market hasn't gotten up to 65. I'm not gonna actually get into any of the contracts until I do hit that 65 point, and then that working order should get me into a position. And then similar, again, if you go here, you can see, let's click on one of these. You can see if I click on a open position, it will automatically populate the ticket to the same size and opposite side of my currently open position, right? And it does that so that you can easily exit your contract. So actually, let's see that. I have these 5 positions here. Click on that. It's going to open a 5 sell side because I'm 5 buy here. And if I were to place this order, you can see that just disappeared because I sold my contracts off back into the market. I did end up taking a loss for that, but I was able to get out of the contract. So always remember, it is smart. You don't need to go in and if you're looking at call spreads, you don't need to say, okay, I need to find the exact binary option in the finder. Again, you can just click on the open position. It will get you out of that position. You can also down here see your 24-hour history. I do not know why. That is quite strange. Let me try refreshing that. That will be something we need to look at. There we go. Okay, that is a note to go ahead and look at. But I did refresh the screen, and that 24-hour history did show up. Right now, this is the only history we do have on the platform. Now, I will be the first to admit that this is not the greatest history and is not sufficient for our traders at this point. We are working on a new history and a new way to get your monthly statements on the new platform. It is not there yet, but we will not shut off the old platform until we have the statements and we have the history on the new platform. So as of right now, if you do want to look back more than 24 hours, I would recommend that you go back onto the old platform and download that. That is the main thing that we do not have on the new platform yet. It is coming. We are developing that. But again, right now, got to go on the old platform for it, and we will not turn off the old platform until we have this functionality in the new one. I have a sort of a bug in chat. Let me answer that in a little bit because I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But I think we have someone that might send you a typed out reply because I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that bug there. All right, so moving on. So that's really how you would, where you find your open positions, your working orders, your history at this point. And how you get out of your contracts, how you read what's going on with your actual positions and working orders as they're happening. So moving on from that, let's go into the settings. So I'll go through very quickly the settings and the My Account tab. So the settings for this platform you're going to find in the bottom left-hand corner, right down here where I'm circling with my mouse. If you click settings there, you will be able to change much the same settings as you were on the old platform and in the mobile version. You will be able to select your tolerance range. So this is the, I won't go too in depth into this if you aren't sure what this is, but this is the tolerance range for your market orders. You can make it tighter or you can make it wider by selecting here, and you can also type in there, right? So you can change that around. I'm going to put mine back to default, which is 10 for the binaries and 3 for the spreads. You can change your default order type. You can have it at market or you can have it at limit. And all that will change is that when I go to a new contract, you can see it popped up as a limit. And if I change it to market, it will pop up as market. Pretty self-explanatory. Then I have the default contract size. So very similarly, right now, the contract, it populated at one size. If I want it to always populate, let's say at 10, then I can make that happen. I would just always remind you that when changing any of these settings, make sure you know what you're doing and make sure you're paying attention, because the last thing we want to happen is that you think you're getting into one contract, but you're actually getting into 10 because you changed your default contract size. If that does happen, there's not really anything we can do about that. So want to make sure, just because we are an exchange, so want to make sure that you guys do realize that that can happen, and make sure that when you are making changes to this, that you remember your changes, that you're very careful with the changes you make to your settings. The last and newest addition to the settings tab is the session inactivity time. This was actually added, I believe, either last weekend or the weekend before, and this will actually, you can select how long you want to wait before this automatically logs you out, right? So the default is 1 hour. So if I'm just sitting here and I'm not doing anything, but let's say I'm watching my charts or I have my charts on a different screen, I have them popped out. After about an hour, it's going to log me out. But I can actually change that to 12 hours so that I can get an entire trading day in. I can get up at 8, trade for 12 hours, it's not going to log me out the whole day. So if you do want to change that, that is where the setting is. And then quickly, let's go over the My Account section. So here's the My Account section. We do have this, if you've used the beta, obviously you have seen this before, but I quite like this this little bar here. So it tells you how much is available, your position value, right? And so let's remember that your position value is the amount of all the contracts that you currently own. And then it has your reserved balance as well. Your reserve balance is going to be the amount that's reserved to actually get into contracts, the amount by working orders, the amount that's reserved for fees, etc. And then it's going to have your total profit and loss. And you can see here, you might have to zoom in, but if I was in more further positions, you can see that this big blue line is my available to trade. So I have 10 grand available to trade. My position value is a smaller, darker blue little part of this graph. And then my reserve balance, as you can see right there, that's my yellow. So if I only had maybe $500 in my account, this would be much more divided much more evenly. But as you can see, because it's a demo and I have 10,000, it's not divided that way. Going down, so just like in the old platform, you can change your residential address here. It's this edit button right here. You can change your contact details. I have this great, very realistic phone number right here and email address. You can also see, so in the history, now I was talking earlier about how we don't have a full history, how we don't have a full statements yet in this platform. So if you actually click here, you'll see, hey, it's coming soon. We have a little button, and this will actually open it up here. So we'll take a quick detour from the new platform, and this is going to take us back to this screen. I can log in using my same login details. We have the old platform here. It will load up in just 1 second. It will load up in just 1 second. The other thing I will say about this new platform too is there are a little bit faster loading times. So that what just happened there, which you guys just saw with the loading kind of taking a little bit, that should be fixed on the new platform, or at least not take as long. But again, if we go to transactions, most of you should know how to get here, but this is how you would see your further transactions and your further statements, right? So you can open your statement, you can open a lot longer range of your transaction history. So let's go back to the new platform. So I can click this button here. It's going to switch me back to the new platform. And I'm going to land on the login page again. I see my nice little spinner loading, and there we go, we're back in. Are you guys ever going to allow the use of hotkeys is a question I just got asked. And yeah, actually, I will show you some of them a little bit later because our charts do have hotkeys now. And if you would like any other hotkeys, that kind of brings me up to my next point here. Put in the feedback section. We'll try our hardest to implement any further hotkeys and really any feedback you have, right? Anything that you are missing on this platform, anything that you want to see us do, we are still going to work on this platform, still develop it, still put new features in, even after that November point when this is the only platform, because we do want this to continuously update and make sure that it's the best place for you guys to trade. So again, put this feedback in. I actually get an email report every single day with every piece of feedback in here. Now that doesn't, I'm not going to say that we are going to be able to respond to every single piece of feedback. I'm not going to say that we can put every single thing you ever want in this platform, although I wish we could. You know, we are constrained a little bit by the amount of resource we have, but we will try to put in everything that you asked for. We will try our hardest to put things in, and just know that this isn't going and know when they're reading this. I am directly reading this, and a couple of members of my team, as well as the developers that work on this platform, read these pieces of feedback too. So again, let us know any features you want, let us know if something's not working, and we will do our best to get those in. We will do our best to fix and resolve any issues that you have. Similarly to that, we have this contact. So if you do have questions, comments, concerns, you have something that you need to talk to a live person right away, you could call this number. Either of these numbers will work and we'll get over to our customer service line. So we have a great customer service team here at Nadex. And then you can also email your questions into customerservice@nadex.com, and you should receive a fairly timely answer to any inquiries that you put through there. You can also write us via snail mail. I will say, I mean, you know, we do get these, right? We read them, but probably the faster way is going to be to call us or email us. But hey, if you do want to write us, this is where we are. Now, actually, I know I just said that we do read those, but because of COVID, obviously we're not in the office, and I really don't know if any of that snail mail is being collected. So I will get back to you on that. So, you know, definitely, especially during COVID, while we're still kind of out of the office, I would say email us or call us with any inquiries. All right, so that's got into the nitty gritty of the My Accounts and the settings panels there. And that's a lot of the new features here before I get into the charts, which are one of my favorite parts to go through. Oh, very quickly as well, I did want to show you this bit of functionality. So up here at the top, this is how you get the My Account section. This is how you open the old platform. You can see, hey, I'm on demo. If I was on a live account, I would have my live account. And you can see the exchange time. You can also see your available balance in your P&L. If you want to hide those, you can. Now no one can see them unless that's down. You can add things to this. So I can add, you know, my reserve, my account value. You can only have 3 up there just because of space constraints, but you can see everything here. So this is customizable. And if you want to know about what these are, you want to know, hey, well, what does my reserve mean? Well, you can see, hey, my reserve is my funds reserved for working orders, including fees. So very straightforward and gives you a little bit of information about what these numbers actually are. So that really brings us down to the charts, which again, I think I mentioned a couple times is one of my favorite parts and probably one of the things that changed the most from the old Pure Deal charts. This was something that we really cognizantly tried to build out and make better, just because I know we would get a lot of feedback in the past that hey, we're not using Nadex charts, we're using somewhere else, which, I don't fault anyone for. And even if you wanted to do that today, I wouldn't really fault you for that. I would say, though, we are trying to build these better because at the end of the day, the price that you see on the Nadex charts, because it is an indicative price, because it is going through our settlement calculation, it is going to be a little bit different than what you see other places. And that's why it's probably best when you're trading on Nadex products to use Nadex charts. Not telling you to never use anything else, but it will give you the most accurate price for the product you are trading. So quickly, let's pull up some charts here. While I'm doing that, let's look at some of the questions. We did get one, and I'll quickly show you because we can go over this. The question was, how do I stop a trade in the middle of the trade? You can always get out of a trade at Nadex as long as there is someone willing to take that contract off your hands. Remember that if there's no one on the other side of the market, it's going to be hard to get out. You can also always place a limit order, but it will be hard to exit if there's no one actually offering anything, right? If there's no buy offer here, it'd be hard for me to exit this position. However, there is a buy offer there. So all I can do is I clicked my open position here, and you can see I still have 16 hours to go, but I am up $8, and I can also see over here in my chart, I'm up $8 here. So if I want to, I can place this order, and again, you can see I have one sell position. So if I get on the buy side, that's going to close my position. And there we go, it's gone. So just a quick little tutorial on how to get out before expiration. Now into the nitty gritty of the charts, which is, again, I keep saying it's my favorite part. So first thing you might notice, strike lines. They look a little bit different, and I'll go over them on each contract because they have changed on each contract. On the old platform, we only had binary strike lines, and they were a little bit different than this. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier. Now they've been changed so that they're smaller. They fit more in on the side of your screen there. And then as you select, you'll see I've selected on the blue buy side of this contract right now. If I select on the red, it's going to shade underneath, just as a little bit more visual representation to show you, okay, when I'm buying this contract or when I'm selling to get into this contract, I'm going to need it to be, if it's red below this, I'm going to need it to be below this line at expiration in order to, get a payout in my favor. And then if it's above this line, it'll be shaded blue. Again, this is a little bit of a visual reminder for where you need to be at expiration of the contract in order to receive a payout. In this case, because it's a binary, it'd be that $100 payout. Moving on to just call spreads, I'm just going to click through these really quickly just so you can see some of the new display sort of settings here. So I'm going to go move this out a little bit. You can see on the call spreads, very similar. I can actually see the top and the bottom range now. So if I click this, you'll see, okay, there's my range. Similar here. There's my range I can trade in. And so if I click red, these are going to be red shaded top and bottom. This is blue, so just a little bit more of a visual reminder and a little bit of a differentiation between contracts there to see what you're actually getting into in trading. And then the last one here is going to be the knockouts. And I will wait for that to load up. And here we are, our beautiful, beautiful knockouts. And let's move that a little bit. So now you can see these are my 4 knockout contracts, and I know some of these are a little bit harder to see. So just so you always know where they are, here are where you can see the 4 different knockouts that we have at any one point, right? There's almost always going to be 4 of these contracts out there in the world, because as one knocks out, another one is listed. So you can see I can select the different contracts on this side. Now, some of you might be saying, well, hold on the call spreads and on the binaries, there was this buy and sell button. Where's the buy and sell button here? Well, it's going to be this top right corner, right? So it does work a little bit differently, but I think once you kind of get used to how that works, it's fairly smooth and you can figure that out pretty well. So again, if I click here, I got to go buy or sell, and now I'm selecting the buy or the sell side of the market here. And just like any other contracts, I get in by hitting my placed order, and then you can see it come up on the bottom. So moving back, so that's basically the improvements we made to the strike lines there. Now let's pull up, I don't know, we haven't done a pound dollar, have we? Let's pull up a pound dollar contract. Actually, you know what, we've been showing too much favor to the indices and the currency. Let's go good old-fashioned commodity here. So let's look at crude oil. I can see all my strikes here, and as you can notice, I'm resizing the contract by pulling up and down on the right-hand side of the chart. So I'm resizing the chart. That is going to be the same as on the old platform, but you actually can get a little bit closer with these strikes now. So it takes a little bit longer to actually end up hiding those strikes like just happened right there. So navigating through this now on the old platform, it was to actually access all of the options on the charts. You had to left click and then a bar would come up to the bottom. That is gone. I'm left clicking right now and nothing's happening. To actually access your indicators, your candlesticks, how much the time interval, etc. There's going to be two places you can actually go to see that. The first is going to be this top bar right up here. So on the top left, and you can see it kind of disappears if I'm not hovering over it. But as I hover over the chart, you can see everything. So I can change my candlestick time here. I can change the amount of time that I want to see, so I can go back 6 months, although this actually is not showing me 6 months because of how our contracts roll over. So this is just showing me to the previous contract rollover. You can see here we have all of the different indicators in the drawings. And I'll go back and I'm going to show you a little bit more about those. So you can click on that, but I'm just showing you how you use it on the top left right now. This is to show or hide things. So I can show my working order, hide my working order, my indicators, my HLSC data. And then you can look at the types of candlesticks. So a line HLSC mountain, these should all be familiar. Heiken Ashi is new, and I will go into that a little bit in a second. And you can look at the price, scale, layouts, etc. So everything from this top left. Or what you can do is you can right click on the chart. And this is how I actually navigate it most of the time. It depends on what you're more used to, but I like right clicking on the chart, and you can see everything that you have in the top left. You also have here, except for the actual time intervals. You have to go to the top left for that. Everything else, you can go right here. So moving along, you can see I have all the indicators up right now. So if I want to throw an indicator on, one of the coolest new features, I think, and especially for people that are learning to trade, or even, I think I wouldn't say I'm the most experienced, but I'm a fairly experienced trader, but I don't know what all these indicators mean, right? So let's say I don't know what the commodity channel index is. Now, in the past on the old platform, I would kind of maybe have to Google that or go somewhere else to find it. On the new platform, I can just hover over this little eye, and I'm going to see, oh, well, the commodity channel index, it measures an asset's current price in relation to average over a given period. So it's going to give me a little blurb about it, and it's going to actually give me a pretty good bit of information about what this indicator is and how it's used. So all of the indicators have this, so I think this is a great little feature because, while I might be a master of EMA and RSI, maybe I don't know what the awesome oscillator is. So it's gonna, expand a little bit what you hopefully can actually use on the platform. Same with the drawings. Now, obviously, it might be pretty self-explanatory to you what an arrow is, but let's say I don't know what an Elliott wave is, or I don't know what a Fibonacci retracement is. Well, if I hold that up over there, I can see what it is, and then I can see how I actually place it on my chart, right? And now I'm just I'm just throwing things randomly on here, but I can see, okay, look, this gives me key levels of support and resistance, based on the Fibonacci numbers. So you can see all of these information bubbles, and you can actually put everything on the platform itself. Now let me actually put on a Bollinger Band. So you can see I have a Bollinger Band on the chart now. If I want to change, let's say, anything about the Bollinger Bands, I can change the colors. I can change the period. So let's say I want a 30 period and I want to see 4 standard deviations instead of 2. I could certainly apply that. Actually, I think the 4 standard deviations may have messed it up a little bit. Let's go back to 2. Looks like my Bollinger Bands don't want to work when I try to do that kind of thing. Oh, we're finding out all kinds of fun things today. All right, let's just do MACD, and we'll say, okay, let's say I want 14 EMA period. a 30 and a 10 line. You know what? That is quite strange. Let me refresh my page. That's jotting another thing down there for why the indicator didn't show up there. So we are still making sure everything works correctly here, but it is always a good idea to just refresh the page when those kind of things happen. And let's throw MACD back on. And now you can see my MACD down here. I have some fairly strange colors on it right now. And again, if I click this, I can change this to 14, 24, and 10. And okay, that is strange because I was just doing this morning and that wasn't happening. All right, well we will go and investigate why that's happening. That seems to be fairly new. With developing a platform, it's always things like to hide on you. So I'll quickly refresh again, but you can change that and that should generally work. Again, I was using it this morning and it was working, but we will make sure that's all fixed and good to go there. So going back in, so that is how you change, the specifics of your, EMA periods. You can see actually I do have the 20, 50, 100 now, and you can change most of your indicators by clicking this little box at the bottom left. Moving on here, I'm going to try to not go too long here. So we can look at the different types here. We can see the candlesticks, the line, the HLOC, the mountain. All of these you should recognize for the old platform. The only different one is we actually do have the Heikin Ashi candles now. So if you aren't aware of what those are, I actually might be doing a different webinar on exactly what those are, and I believe I've been working with one of our writers. You may see that there's some blog posts that I put up on the site. I'm working with one of our writers on possibly doing a Heikin Ashi piece as well, just so you guys can understand exactly what that is. I'm not going to fully go into what the Heikin Ashi candles do today. If you'd like to find out more about them until we put that webinar out or until we do that blog, I would recommend a quick Google. But you can see very basically it sort of averages out the candlesticks. And you can see kind of compared to the normal candlesticks, it's smoothed out a little bit, right? So if I go, I can actually, you see it kind of smooths the ranges out because it is taking more of an average of that. So before you use that, obviously do your research, but that is there for those of you that do know what Heikin Ashi is and would like to use that. You can also change your price, so the ask, bid, mid, and last traded. I like to go on the last traded. If you do change this, just remember what you're changing it to. I do remember we've gotten before, I've talked to a lot of you before, or a lot of people that have traded on the exchange before, and sometimes there'll be a little bit of confusion about, this isn't showing the price that I actually think it is. Well, and a lot of the times that will actually come down to, maybe you have the ask or the bid selected instead of last trade or instead of mid. So the last traded is going to be the actual price that you're, the most, the best approximation of the indicative price, right? So the best indicative price you can use is going to be that last traded for actually trading all the contracts, and that's going to be the closest to what's going to be your settlement price. Again, so you can change the scale on the new charts as well. Just kind of a little thing, but I actually quite like it. Let me go to another market that's not so choppy so you guys can see better. Crude was looking pretty good. Okay, I have my beautiful drawings. So I can actually delete all my drawings too. That's not delete all my drawings. We'll just hide it right now. Okay, so we can hide our drawings, we can hide our indicators. So just really quickly, the percentages. So you have the linear here. So you'll notice across this side, this is giving you the actual number of what the market is. If you click on percentage, you can actually see the percent change since this candle here, right? So the candle that starts the first candle that you can see on the chart, you're gonna be able to see kind of how much the percent change movement in that market as it goes on. So if I want to say, oh, well, look, I can kind of see that it was around, 1.6% up at this point, even though it's still showing me the number here. I can see sort of how large of a percent move happened on the chart there. Or you can just go back to linear and then you again see the number there, right? So just a little thing, but something I actually like to put on just so I can see percent movements in the markets. We can go down to our show here. So we see our HLOC, we see our drawings, we can bring those back up, our indicators. We can see open positions, working orders, and timeline. Now, for the person that asked about the hotkeys earlier, you'll see these little P, O, and T here. Actually, let me enter positions so I can show you a little bit further. So that's one position here. And let me get into a, oops, 30. Oops, all right, 33, that's fine. Let me get into a working order. So you can see on the chart, and let me actually move this down just, oopsies, that is not what I meant to do. Okay, sorry, that was my email. So you can see here, if I minimize this, and again, you can minimize all of these sections or bring them back up with these arrows that are all over. You know, just like that. You probably see me doing that throughout the presentation here. Well, let me actually hide my drawings again too. Oh, you can delete all drawings that's under the drawing panel. That's right. Okay. So you can see again, I have my working order here, so that's grayed out right now, and I have my position I'm in that's actually red right now because right now it is trading at a loss. You can see, you know, these little positions saying it tells me, you know, I have one long position or one buy position above 40.25, which is the strike price. And just as a little bit of a tangent as well, you can see if I'm in a position, these little dotted lines are black. If I'm not, they're blue. And if I'm selected on one, the dotted lines turn solid. So just another little visual representation of what's going on. Back though to what I was talking about with the hotkeys. So if I press P here, let me try that again. If I press P, I can see open positions hidden, right? So you should see right here, and I'll bring it back up. If I press P again, it's going to bring my open positions back, and I can see them again, right? If I press O, that's going to hide my working order. I will bring it back up again so we can see it up here. And if I press T, so this timeline down here that you can kind of drag and you can see more of time. If I don't want to see that, I can press T and that will hide. I can also just start typing in an interval here. So if I don't want to actually go up here and select one of these, I can just type in 1 and let's say H, right? So 1H and then enter will give me 1 hour candlesticks. So there we go. Now I have 1 hour candlesticks. If I type in 30, I can get my 30 minutes back. I can do 1 day. I can do 1 tick, 1 second, right? So you can see the different options here for actually typing in for hotkeys here, right? Oops, let me type that back in. There we go. There's the 30 minutes again. If you can't remember what those hotkeys are, you can go click up here and you can see next to the actual selections, it'll have 15. So if I type in 15, it'll go to 15 minutes. 1D will be 1 day, right? So if you forget them, they are up there. And same thing in the show, P, O, and T. You can see these. Now, those are all the hotkeys we have at this point, right? It's just going to be hiding and showing your working orders, your position, your timelines, and changing the intervals. Hopefully, in the future, we would like to get more hotkeys in, but as for right now, that is all we have actually gone ahead and developed at this point. So we're getting near the end here. I will show you a couple more things. So you can always save your layout. So a lot of you probably know this from the old platform, but if I have, oops, don't know what I just clicked. Let's say I have, I have a couple indicators I like putting on here. Just say I have this indicator I like putting on, and maybe I have a drawing that I like as well. I like my Elliott waves. Again, just drawing. This isn't really how you generally use an Elliott wave. I can put that on here and I can save my layout. And I can say Adams layout. Ooh. Adams, great layout. There we go. So I just saved my layout there. So if I want to apply that to any other charts, I can go here. I can select my layout. I'd say Adam's great layout. And you can see I have my, it doesn't put the drawings on, but I have my EMA on there, and I have the same layout there for like 30 minutes, 30-minute candles. And so everything like that will be saved with those layouts. So you can apply it across different markets. And let's see, is there anything else I'm forgetting here? Oh, customize appearance. Again, you can change, if I really want my candlesticks to be orange for up and blue for down, well, hey, I can do that. Now look, I have some beautiful candlesticks. Oh, I closed it out. You have to actually press apply there, but that's how you change that. And then the very last thing on this panel here, I can export my chart. So this is quite useful for a couple things. One, if you have a certain drawing on your chart that you have set up just the way you like it, and you notice some kind of pattern, I can export that chart. That's actually going to pop up a downloaded image, and you can see here. Oh, that popped up on my other screen, but I will drag it over. You can see now I have this image. I don't have to actually take a screenshot of my screen. I have this image all ready to go of my chart. So this is good for a couple things. One, if I see some kind of setup and I want to save it for later, or let's say I see something that I don't understand, I want to ask customer service about it, I can, instead of taking a screenshot of my screen, I can export the chart, I can send that into customer service, and then hopefully they can help me a little bit easier as long as they can see what's going on in that image. So again, that is the last bit of functionality in that charting package there. So you can see there are a lot of differences with the charts. Now I did kind of go fairly long on that last bit talking about the charts, but that really is everything that you need to know about this new platform. So hopefully that has been fairly informative. If there are any questions left now, I'll take a little bit of time and answer them directly. I do think we answered most of them as we were moving through the actual presentation. But if you do have any extra questions for me, anything, and if you notice I didn't go over anything at all, I'll give a couple minutes here just to see if we have any coming in. Doesn't look like we have too much coming in here. I'll give one more minute, but so yes, just to reiterate again, both platforms are still open now. Starting next Monday, this will be the default platform. So the new platform will be what you default log into when you actually enter Nadex, but you will still be able to get to the old platform using this link up here. Come November, we do not have an exact date, but around November, we will be shutting off access to that old platform, and this will be the only available desktop trading platform that you can have. Obviously, we will still have the Nadex Go for mobile. All right, so looks like this was that we answered all the questions as we were going through everything here. I will just put up as we end this the customer service. Oops, let's switch this. I will put up here quickly the customer service number and contact email so that you guys can see, and if you need anything, you can access, you can call them and give them a call. I do have a question here. Do you think it's possible to build an account with $250? I mean, that's $250 is our minimum starting balance. It's hard for me to talk to exactly, expectations around putting any amount of money in and getting anything out. It's kind of a vague question, honestly. Building a account with 250. Do I think it's possible to, make money? Yes. Do I think it's possible to lose that money? Yes. Right. Obviously, with all kinds of trading, there is that risk reward balance. So you are always risking something to put to hopefully make a profit. But on the other side, if you don't, then you can lose that money. I think accounts of all sizes have the opportunity to come in and do well at Nadex. But I think, also the accounts of all sizes have similar amount of risk. It's really about knowing and managing your risk relative to your account size. And that is a little bit of sort of trading psychology and trading, kind of in the trading psychology realm, and I think we're going to try to do some more blog posts on that. If you go check out our new blog right now, we do have a good number of posts up there, but I think going forward, we are going to try to do a little bit more advanced posts things around trading psychology, things around managing your risk, the amount of risk you should be taking on for your contract size, for your account size, your setting goals, that sort of thing. Just general trading psychology sort of things that hopefully can make everyone that reads them a better trader. So yeah, I know that's not a very direct answer. I'm sorry for that, but that's really kind of the best answer I can give you on that specific question. So it does look like that is going to be the I think that's the last question we have here. We are getting to the end of this hour window that we have. I just want to thank everyone for coming and hanging out with me for the last hour. Hopefully you guys learned something. And if you do have any questions, remember just to reach out. If you have any feedback, again, please give us your feedback. We are still trying to make sure that this is the best platform for you all to trade and make sure that you're not losing anything coming over from the old platform and accessing this new one. And just before I sign off, I hope all of you are still staying safe out there. I know COVID is still something that we are dealing with, so just remember to stay safe when you're doing your trading out there. Have fun when you're trading at Nadex, and just keep it going. Thanks everyone for coming and attending this webinar. Have a great rest of your day.